I think clutter is a common problem in almost every household, and mine is certainly no exception. And, despite my best efforts to keep things tidy, and, best efforts may be a bit of a stretch, there are certain areas in my house that consistently become clutter hotspots. And these spots seem to just attract miscellaneous kinds of items, a lot like magnets. And it makes it challenging to maintain an organized living space. And so today I want to talk about the 8 places that I have found in my house that really give me problems on a daily basis. Maybe you can relate, and at the end, maybe you'll want to share a few of your own. Let's get started. In my last video, I talked about this couch in my photo studio, and it's a prime example of a clutter hotspot for me. It often ends up covered up with different props and camera equipment, and sometimes even personal items like jackets or, my camera bag. And it's really meant for sitting and making videos, but it's hard to do that when it's full of stuff. And really, it just becomes more of a storage space than it does a couch. Also in my studio here is a standing desk. And it's another clutter magnet for me. Papers, camera accessories, other small items that just tend to sort of collect and pile up. It makes it difficult to actually use the desk for its intended purpose, which is for me to edit videos on the iMac. And when I want to actually use the desk in a video, pull it out and use it as something that I'm going to sit behind, I have to move everything on the desk, and oftentimes they get moved to the couch. And in fact, it was this cluttered desk that inspired me to take stock of my procrastinating and to look at these 8 areas in my home. And that was because while I was editing a video recently, I accidentally knocked a $2,000 lens onto the floor. Now, thankfully, it survived. But I knew then and there I had to get a grip on my habits of setting things down rather than putting things away. And so I'm making a concerted effort to do that. The corner of my kitchen counter, the bar area of my kitchen counter, is where things like mail and keys and other small items tend to start accumulating. And it can quickly just become a mess, making it hard to use the counter for even cooking and food preparation. And then when I do want to do a video of cooking in the kitchen, I've got all this stuff spread out that I've got to move because I didn't bother to put it away. But I do know that a clutter-free kitchen counter corner can reduce stress, and it can reduce anxiety associated with misplaced items. I can't tell you how many times I have searched my apartment for something only to find that I had put something on top of it on the kitchen counter. And it also sets a positive tone for the entire kitchen, making cooking and meal preparation more enjoyable. Now, in addition to just that bar top in the corner, the main area of my kitchen counter is a huge clutter hotspot. Appliances, utensils, dirty dishes, a lot of dirty dishes. They often end up, just scattered across the surface, making the kitchen look messy and disorganized. And a clutter-free main kitchen counter can inspire me to actually cook rather than just eat something directly out of the refrigerator or straight out of a cabinet. And with ample space to work, I'm much more likely to try new recipes and enjoy the cooking process. And it also makes cleaning up after meals much easier. And it encourages more frequent home-cooked meals rather than eating out, which is a healthier lifestyle for me. I've talked about this before, I think, long time ago, but my dining room table is supposed to be a place for meals and if I have company, but it often becomes a dumping ground for books and papers and other miscellaneous items, camera equipment, my iPhone stuff. And as a result, I rarely actually eat at that table. A cluttered dining table can discourage me from actually using it because I don't want to take the time to clean it off just before I eat. And by keeping this space clear and inviting, not only is my entire living room more appealing to look at, but I'm more likely to eat there rather than have a plate of food balanced in my lap and a kitchen towel draped over my shirt to protect me from spills, watching reruns of Criminal Minds or Law and Order on my couch. Now, I've talked about as well my dad's chair and ottoman, the orange leather chair and ottoman in my living room. And they're frequently covered with jackets I've taken off or magazines I've dropped, or maybe I put my camera bag there after coming in from a photo shoot and it won't get put away for several days. And while it was really designed for sitting, I don't sit there. For me, it's more of a piece of art in my living room. It's a sculpture of sorts that stands in the place of my dad. And when it's covered up, it's almost like the sacrilege of defacing modern monuments with spray paint. And you may have a chair like that collects things almost like a magnet as well. And yours may be intended for actual sitting down. But a clutter-free chair and ottoman can significantly impact mental health and relaxation. When this space in my living room is clear and inviting, it becomes a true relaxation spot for me. Now, even though I have taken out all of the furniture basically in my bedroom, I still have a bed. And my bed often becomes a temporary storage space for clothes and books and other items. This not only makes the bedroom look messy, but it also affects my ability to relax and sleep. Right now, in fact, and I'm ashamed to admit it, but I will, I still have a few of the tech gear on my bed that I took to England. And that was 2 weeks ago. And I have not put them away yet. I mean, come on. I'm embarrassed. I know that when I have a clean bed, I create a more conducive environment for restful sleep, which can have far-reaching effects on my overall health, my mood, and even my productivity. And after all, I didn't minimize the storage and furniture in this room just to have everything lined up, piling up like Mount Rushmore on my bed. The last place for me is the top drawer of my side table, which is right next to my dining room table. That is a notorious clutter spot for me. I open the drawer and I chuck in things like pens and receipts and other miscellaneous kind of objects, making it difficult to find what I need in that drawer. Not every drawer, just the top drawer. And in fact, as I'm making this video, it's hit me that this is probably the only place in my entire home that I have not decluttered on video. So maybe that's another video down the road. Understanding the psychological impact of clutter is crucial in maintaining an organized home. Whether you claim to be a minimalist or you claim to be a maximalist, clutter is a problem for all of us. It can lead to increased stress levels. It can give us decreased focus, and even, like me right now, fill us with feelings of guilt or shame. And by addressing these habitual clutter spots, I know I'm not just improving the physical appearance of my home. I'm also creating a more positive mental environment for myself. Now, research has shown that living in a cluttered space can elevate cortisol levels. And cortisol is the hormone associated with stress. And it's one of the hormones that's also associated with belly fat from stress. And this can lead to a cycle where stress makes it harder to deal with clutter, and the presence of clutter increases your stress, and it is a never-ending cycle. So breaking this cycle by maintaining organized spaces can lead to improved mental well-being and a greater sense of control over your own environment. Developing good habits, I know, is key to long-term clutter management. It's not enough to just occasionally declutter these hotspots in my house. But consistent daily actions are necessary to prevent this clutter from accumulating in the first place. And I'm not there yet. I'm working on it, but I'm not there yet. This might involve setting aside a few minutes every day to tidy up, which I hate to do, or implementing a one-in, one-out rule for new items, which I have done, or establishing routines for processing mail and other things that come into the house. Most of my mail, I will have to say, goes straight to the trash can because I get very little mail that is useful. By turning these decluttering strategies into habits, I'm hoping that they will become second nature even for me and require less conscious effort over time. And this should make it easier to maintain an organized home in the long run, even during busy or stressful periods. And even in retirement, we still have those. Clutter can be a persistent problem, even for those of us who are trying our best to live a clutter-free life. But with some thoughtful strategies and regular maintenance, it's possible to keep these habitual clutter spots under control. And by implementing design storage solutions or developing daily and weekly cleaning routines and using various kinds of organizers, I know I can maintain a more organized and functional living space. I know I can. So addressing these clutter hotspots not only improves the appearance of my home, but I know it will also enhance my overall well-being by reducing my own levels of stress and creating a more peaceful environment for me to live in. And that leads to increased productivity, better sleep, even improved social interactions, and a greater sense of control over my own environment. Ultimately, the goal is not to achieve a perfectly organized home at all times. Even I don't want that. But it is to create a space that supports my lifestyle and contributes positively to my mental and physical health. And if I can focus on these 8 habitual clutter spots and consistently apply strategies to manage them, I can take care of my entire home environment and create something that's both functional and nurturing, supporting my personal and my professional retirement goals. So I have a question for you. What are your clutter problem areas in your home? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to add what you're doing to try to solve that problem, I would greatly appreciate it. And in the meantime, there is this link to my last video where I talked just briefly about this couch and some of the ways that clutter is a problem. And as always, thank you for watching.